used and torn more than once in this circumstance. Well, now it's starting to become a little interesting. Torn more than once. So all of a sudden, they found use for this blanket. Why would you tear a blanket that you were going to throw out? Why would you tear up a blanket you were going to throw up to begin with? You know, they're omitting a lot of the truth to all of this. Maybe it has a lot more to do with Jack and Lily than we'd like to think. Did any of that transfer onto that particular piece? I wonder. Think about all the different types of DNA they can pull off of that. There's touch DNA. There's bodily fluids. Potential decomp. All kinds of things. They'd be analyzing this damn thing forever if you let them. But to me, it stuck out to me that it was long, slender, and it would be easy to wrap that around a package and tie into a knot. How many more pieces of this blanket are there out there, I wonder? And I mean, think about the different articles early on that Daniel brought up, like the missing sweater thing in the beginning. It'd be easy enough to take a knife and rip up old articles of clothing and turn them and use them as way to, tie somebody down. Bind something together, roll things up into a tighter package, nondescript. Keep things bound. Well, the blanket, they've got blankets in all their windows in that sense. It was part of a larger pink blanket. But what struck me is it was significant to Haley. So Haley, it stood out to Haley. She recognized it. Did they just have it hanging out in the back, not thinking anybody would recognize it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, did they use it, and was it a piece, like an accident? Did Daniel fuck up in that sense and leave the rest of the blanket? Like, what happened to the rest of the blanket? Cheryl says, and the story is, it was hanging out over the railing on the back patio, torn in two back there, according to Cheryl. But Janie is told it where she watched Daniel put it into the garbage. Did Daniel go retrieve this blanket towel that they were using to stuff underneath a door? Is it the same front door that is damaged, I wonder? No, it's not far-fetched. Not far-fetched at all, Lori. Quite the opposite. So why would you decide to throw it out in the first place? Why was it back out of? It sounds like it was back out because Janie spoke to this towel as though they put it in there 2 weeks ago, and Daniel talked about how there's a big hole in it. He said that on the news, as a matter of fact. Not that it was factual, but he said that there's a big arm-sized hole in the side of the bag, and that's where the blanket came from. That's ironic. That would suggest to me that the blanket was always in the garbage. It doesn't. I would never start at the garbage and tell you where it was. I would say it came from my house. Blanket was the blanket I used underneath the doorway because it kept the cold breeze out. Not that it was garbage to begin with. So is it in fact relevant? Does it have some connection to the incident that we suspect ended Jack and Lily's lives? The answer to that is potentially it would be accidental. Maybe that's how they're going about it. I'm interested to know, just like you are. Especially as a kid who doesn't have much, she wouldn't have wanted to give that up. My kids have... What the hell are you talking about, Thunderbody? Nobody's talking about it being Lily's blanket. Is it Lily's blanket? It's the first I heard that it was referred to as Lily's blanket. Nobody's ever referred to it as Lily's blanket in that sense. But it's pink. You would think that it would be a child's blanket. There's what I'm saying is, or maybe you are too, Thunder Buddy, that there's a reason why they threw it out. What is that reason? In other words, right? Oh, you know Kim Elton. For sure. We feel collectively a lot better as days go by about the direction that the RCMP are taking this case in. I know I do, and you should too. Huggy Demons, you think it was used on the black sliding door? Good point. Could be. I'd be interested to know. I don't know if we're going to be able to get such an easy answer, though. You don't know what's true from the people who should be telling you the truth. It was Lily's piece of a blanket on the railing from day one, and I heard that helicopter grandma said Lily's. Is it? I just don't refer to it as Lily's, I guess. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I guess maybe you're right, now that I come to think of it. Maybe you are right, helicopter grandma. Good remembering. Good remembering. So, hold on. Daniel's new criminal charges. Mike speculated the charges may be a Crown pressure tactic, possibly from phone evidence or Malaya's statements, and doubts Malaya would be a strong witness. Yeah. They don't need Malaya as a witness in all of this. They have enough of the information to bring the charges. How do they want to answer to them is the question, baby. How do you bitches want to answer to this? Danny. She answered no to all. Let me see. So Mike talked about that. I want to get to this point about Anita. Malaya Brooks Murray also took a second polygraph on the same blanket issue and passed. Is that true? Let's see. Mike liked that. Let me see. Haley Ferdinand's language. His conclusion was Haley knows more than she's saying and is protecting that knowledge, but Mike still believes she is not a part of any of the active cover-up. Yeah, I agree with that. Haley's pretty solid in all of this. Haley Conscience. And Wade. Wade, too. He deserves an honorable mention. And Anita, this Anita 2 name. This Anita Johnson. This Anita Maxwell Johnson. A neighbor witness claims she saw Lily at Jordan's house the morning of the disappearance and heard her scream. Can identify her. Mike now treats this as credible. So this was a big thing. This was the source of why Mike and I had to talk to Jordan in the first place. We talked to him in a round table a couple times, but we had one notable, I think we recorded one of the conversations. Not that it's very outstanding. It was just Jordan and his rhetoric in this sense. And he's thick of rhetoric in this circumstance. There'd only be one reason why you would be full of rhetoric, and as if you were actively involved somehow. So this neighbor witness, Mike's now suggesting, and he treats it as credible. That's really interesting. So I'll put that out there. A neighbor witness claims she saw Lily at Jordan's house the morning of the disappearance and heard her scream. That's the first I heard about the scream. But again, the neighbor says she can identify her. Yeah, and I guess that would make sense after. Like, I mean, she didn't see that video until after she witnessed. Interesting points. Let's get to the incest. Additional cover-up and health hints. More people involved than previously discussed. Yeah, I mean, he has reason to be now discussed. More people involved in this, like meaning Cindy and Patty, and looking at them in a different light in this circumstance. Grandmother Patty, who's not the woman seen with Henry Brooks, isn't that Connie? Has been hospitalized many times, according to Mike. Mike hints at incest. Anita used this word. And other sicko behavior, but refuses to detail it yet. Oh! I wonder what he's referring to. Daniel allegedly makes this stuff for irregular income in that sense. Yeah, I still believe that, for his own benefit and maybe to make a little bit of money. Now, Malaya's mothering. 10. Anita says Malaya was never a great mother, even with Meadow. Belinda's positive comments are doubted. Meadow was thin, legs bent back, etc. Luckily, Belinda's looking for something positive to say. You can get that. So Mike's overall stance is he believes Anita and now sees a deeper multi-person cover-up. Interesting. He expects arrest soon. Good boy. I like to give him a pat on the back for that. There's a good chance they're all going down. Oh, yeah. The rabbit hole is going very, very deep. Do you hear that, Jordan? Do you hear that, Derwood? Kent, you better get some multicolored bracelets ready for this celebration because you're going to need to raise some funds for commissary in the Hooska. And wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? Old Jordan. You still haven't figured out that, you know, it's easier to scare somebody when you have a point. Oh, are you still sad? Are you still triggered? Still pretending you're triggered? Are you still rolling with those lines? Fucking Chomo. You are a Chomo, Jabro. Jordan. Does anybody out there know Jordan's ex that just left him? Wouldn't she be a fantastic interview? We need to find her. She's probably on Facebook, I would expect. Putting that out there to the YouTube gods. That'd be fantastic. Tell us all about Jordan and his relationship with his daddy, Derwood. I'm going to call... What did he tell Anita? I'm going to spam call your husband. That's what he does all day. That's what you do. Hang out, threaten people over Facebook. Nasty Nathaniel AB. Oh, thank you, Nasty. Welcome in. Oh, is it Fred Baines? Yeah, I didn't much like that article. Not about to read it. I don't think they can go fuck themselves. That publication doesn't have very big of a reach in that sense. Bonzi, Ozzy, Sheila, you believe Belinda. Not often a mother says good things about their child's ex. Well, you know, I don't hold that against Belinda in that sense. Like, she's just... Some people just like to represent themselves, you know. She only looks for nice things to say about people. the positive side of things. Truthfinder, do you think the Gettis have something to do with it? And either rugs are covering up evidence? Absolutely, Truthfinder. When you say covering up evidence, absolutely. Yeah, I do. I do. Especially old Derwood. Absolutely, I do. And Jordan's being used at this point, too, and legally, the cops should be able to find something pretty easily on the amount of nonsense that's easily traceable through his communication devices. It'd be interesting just to fucking scoop his phone up and download it and go through all of the messages that idiots have sent. And all of the apps that's spying on him, pulling all the audio. You know, Jordan has just got he's got a big mouth in that sense. There's a lot of talking going on around there. The fact that they're so open to push threats tells me that they're on some way involved, and they're so eager to jump and defend the most ridiculous statements from the obvious suspects in all of this and pretend that really a crime hasn't even taken place to begin with in light of Jack and Lily being missing and presumed dead. Okay? What sort of fucking idiots do you think are believing these guys? Of course Darren is involved. Somehow he's involved and tied into this. They need to figure it out. You're saying Jordan is way too vocal to not have some involvement. Oh, the more I listen to it, the more I believe it as well. And it's not like he has any deep, meaningful, contextual language to communicate with. Like, it was literally, well, what Mike talks about in his videos, those classical forms of avoidance. If I knew where the kids are, I would do this and that. No different than what Janie does. You get a good sense of it. They're all doing that in this circumstance. Reeking of rehearsed narratives in that sense. And you don't even have to resort to fancy terminology. They're straight up fucking lying to you. Cool J, if Meadow's legs were all messed up because she was carried everywhere, that sounds like protection, not necessarily neglect. It would suggest lack of nutrition, Cool J. Lack of nutrition and exercise. Lack of the important exercise. Like if you left your child alone, like if there was, I'm not saying there is, I don't know who's saying that actually. Anita? That she had problems with her legs? That probably had a lot to do with what she wasn't getting, nutrition wise. Meadow had rickets from malnutrition. There you go, Juno. So you're saying, I don't know if I can verify. This is coming from Anita. I'll take her at her word then. Rickets. Holy shit. It would, if it was out of control, it would be stunting. Yeah, I would expect it would be a challenge. This is getting stinkier by the minute, Truthfinder says. All these sickos around 2 children. How did they end up dead? Yeah, I can detect. Are you being sarcastic? The possibilities are getting a lot more sick in your mind. Yep. Yeah, like, what really happened? I'm with you. The more that we learn about the scenario, the risk factor just keeps establishing a new all-time high. I like your way of thinking, Anita. I wonder which Gettis is going to be top dog protector in the slammer, booze noser, baby chose, and which one will be wearing Danny Bots back. They won't be all in the same cell, sadly. They'll be I wonder how that will go. Danny will be away from them. Danny will be in protective custody because of his sex offender registry status. And Darren, he's an accessory to a child crime. That's different. That they're going to be having problems. You're right. They're going to be in general population. They're going to be out and about with everybody that's